GETTYWriter of The Crown, Peter Morgan, declaring his belief that the Queen, 91, has limited intelligence. Not so, thunders John Bickersteth, 96, the former Bishop of Bath and Wells, of whom Hem became very fond when he was appointed to the rather arcane position as her clerk of the closet. He defends the monarch's knowledge of the world as being unsurpassed because of the sheer extent of her travels and her access to people preeminent in their fields. She has met so many millions of people and has known some of them really well, he says. One of Bickersteth's royal duties was, intriguingly, to vet the Queen's reading material. The role of clerk dates back to the Reformation, when the Church was keen to prevent the sovereign being exposed to Roman Catholic propaganda rather than worrying about what effect the odd Mills boon would have on the royal emotions. Of her reading, he says actually she's not much of a reader as she doesn't have the time. But she's an incredibly knowledgeable person and she has a marvelous sense of humor, he adds. More prosaically, her job must be so boring she has to write her signature endlessly. Getty. Penelope Cruz was in London at premiere of Murder on the Orient Express. Although Penelope Cruz has made a fortune from her appearances on screen, she has banned television from her home because she worries over its effects on her children. The Spanish star, who has been in London for the premiere of Murder on the Orient Express, says she and her husband, actor Javier Bardem, are concerned about the impact of screens on their 6-year-old son Leo, and daughter Luna. In our house, there is no TV, no video games, she declares firmly. I just want my kids to experience nature, to experience a rhythm that is healthier for their development. In our house, there is no TV, no video games. Penelope Cruz. I worry for the future of those generations that spend hours every day on screens, or are given a phone at 11. You see groups of them on their phones and they don't talk to each other, they don't look each other in the eyes. Penelope, 43, who had a 3-year relationship with Tom Cruise, has reservations about children's access to the internet, warning their brains are forming. They're not supposed to see material they are not ready to digest yet. Getty. Pete Townsend is taking a break from touring to devote a year to focusing on his new wife. Rachel. Rocker Pete Townsend, who recently revealed that he had quietly married his long-term girlfriend Rachel Fuller, is treating his wife to an elongated honeymoon, or what he refers to as a gap year. The Who guitarist, 72, says he is taking a break from touring to devote a year to focusing on Rachel, a musician who is nearly 30 years his junior. Pete says he and Rachel want a year free of work commitments to do whatever they fancy, says a close friend. Part of that will include sailing his boat in the West Indies. For the moment, Pete, who spent the summer performing in the States with an orchestral version of The Who's 1973 album Quadrophenia, is content to be based with Rachel at their London home, where they take their 3 rescue dogs for plenty of walks around Richmond. He said of his register office wedding, at which 2 witnesses were the only guests, it was a very, very happy thing for both of us. We kept it as quiet as we could because we were being selfish. Getty. David Cameron could soon be selling as family furniture firm Oka could be sold for £40 million. No matter about the troubles of his Downing Street successor, David Cameron and his family could soon be celebrating. Oka, the furniture firm founded by Samantha Cameron's mother Annabel Astor, is on the verge of being sold for around £40 million, after receiving a number of approaches from rival businesses. Annabel set up the company in 1999 and it now has 14 stores. Although she has described trying to raise money to get Oka off the ground as a nightmare, she recalls it was during the dot-com boom and no one was interested in anything basic, such as a piece of furniture. I'd go to people and say, here's my business plan, and they'd say, no, I'm not interested. Getty. Richard E. Grant dreams of having a threesome with his wife and Barbra Streisand. It might not be the best time for such an admission, but Richard E. Grant dreams of having a threesome with his wife and Barbra Streisand. I would love a two-way with Barbra and the wife. A menage. And my wife knows this, muses the with-nail actor, 60, who has harbored a passion for Ms. Streisand, now 75, since he was 14. I thought she was the most attractive, exotic figure I had ever seen in my life. I've had to live with this obsession all these years. I've spent thousands going to see her on tour. I remember subscribing to this fanzine which said she was having problems with Ryan O'Neal, and I wrote to her saying, please come and stay with me. Nobody will know who you are and you can stay in my house for 2 weeks. I'm sure it never reached her. When I heard James Brolin was going to marry her, I felt as if I'd been stabbed in the back. My chance had gone. Getty. Gino D'Acampo says he prefers the company of women to men. When it comes to the sexes, there's no doubt in Gino D'Acampo's mind, he prefers the company of women to men. Men are boring, stupid and egotistic. They're always trying to impress you, declares the Italian chef, 41, who moved to London when he was 19. I can talk to women all day. They are unique, beautiful, complicated and perfect, probably the best creature God created. So how does he impress his wife Jessica? Below with romantic things, not flowers and chocolates, but I clean her car, and I charge her electric toothbrush every evening. Sir Elton John had been, until a reconciliation in May, estranged from his mother Sheila. But just how did this schism occur? Scottish songwriter Bill Martin offers a clue in his new memoirs. After greeting Elton and Sheila at the 2005 premiere of Billy Elliot, he sat in front of the pair at the Victoria Palace Theatre and overheard Sheila admonishing her son, saying, "Why can't you write songs like Puppet on a String and look at Billy's hair? He has lovely hair." For the follically challenged Elton, that might have been the last straw. ITV has announced that there won't be another series of DCI Banks, which will leave its star Stephen Tompkinson more time for other projects, although he has been known to turn down lucrative work when he doesn't agree with its subject matter or ethics. Tompkinson, 52, says he refused voiceover work for a credit card company because I believe that firms like theirs prey on vulnerable people. I don't want to be persuading viewers to get further into debt. Loan companies make it all sound very easy and their customers don't think it all through. I can't be part of that deception. Among many other adverts, Stephen's voice has been used to convince punters of the merits of Tetley Tea, Bulmers Cider and Quick Save. I've been given some bizarre instructions by TV ad directors over the years, he reflects. One bloke told me that he wanted me to put a smile into my voice when I said the word cornflake. If Jerry Horner feels a bit down, she brightens her mood with a spot of yoga. A shoulder stand puts the world into a different perspective, proclaims Ginger Spice, 45, now the wife of motor racing boss Christian Horner. Instead of having a cup of coffee, I just stick my legs behind my head. A thought to brighten anyone's Sunday. Getty Mark Gatiss plays King James spy master Robert Cecil in BBC One's Gunpowder. There weren't many smiles for Mark Gatiss as he played King James spy master Robert Cecil in BBC One's Gunpowder. But matters are more cheerful in the actor's personal life. He is to marry his partner Ian Hallard. Mark, 51, will tie the knot 10 years after the couple entered into a civil partnership. We're upgrading to celebrate our anniversary, he explains. And because at a wedding the seating is better and we get more white wine. Not that Mark will be having any Guy Fawkes-style pyrotechnics to mark the occasion. The last time we set off fireworks was about 15 years ago and it was great, until I put a Catherine wheel on the shed door and it caught fire. GETTYWriter newscaster Gordon Honeycomb. In the current climate, what would society's moral guardians make now of the case against the ITN newscaster Gordon Honeycomb, who was a housewives pin-up during the 1960s and 70s? Towards the end of his time at ITN, police were alerted by a woman who insisted that Honeycomb be arrested, saying he had molested her in her home. Recalled the broadcaster, shortly before his death 2 years ago. Apparently, while reading the news my arms went out through her TV set, traveled across her living room and lifted her skirt. Every night. How I was supposed to have turned the pages of my script while engaged in this activity was never explained. About to celebrate his 90th birthday on Wednesday, Ken Dodd has been reflecting on his knighthood. I was thrilled to get it, of course. I don't feel it's affected me in the least. I'm still just Ken from Naughty Ash. But it has affected the way other people regard you. I have men bowing and ladies curtsying, but then I have to help them up. I've found that more people want to kiss you, mostly ladies, which is great when they're 21, but when they're 95 it gets a bit messy.